Hello, and welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where today I am here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not going to happen in this video, but that's okay. We will live to fight another day. You guys, before I introduce Mrs. Best, there is a lot going on with StreamYard right now. So we're hearing echoes. At least I am. I'm not sure about Mrs. Best, but when I bring her on, I'll ask her. Please be patient with us if we're echoing or if it's muffled. We apologize. We don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but I have to let you guys know it is not us. Me and her were trying to figure it out behind the scenes before we went live, but we're wasting time trying to figure it out. So we're just going to go ahead and bring you guys here. Hopefully you can hear us. But shout out to my girl, Mrs. Best. She has made it here. You guys say what's up to her.
I don't know if people can hear me, but
You're fine now.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon. StreamYard was not working. I'm still happy to be here. What day is it? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, you guys. Yes, please like, comment, and subscribe to both channels. Remember, any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, it's because we covered on Mrs. Best's channel. Like right after this live, we're going to her channel to do 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. It was a great episode. You guys are not going to want to miss this. So let's get into the comments because I see a few of y'all are in here. Shout out to my girl Shani, who is always up in here first. We appreciate you, Shani. Shout out to my girl Dr. Jim Bunny here on a Monday. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, my love. Shani, you made it back in time. All right. Oh, no, she didn't. She on her way back home. My bad. I read that wrong. DM Rocks. Hey, I have to say Toya did a good job with the game. Okay.
Toya can make anything look good, baby, but she did a terrible job with the gala.
Yeah.
She did a terrible job.
DM Rocks, you know I love you. You know I do. I love you with the whole heart here. But no. And we're gonna get into it because that actually Toya pissed me off beyond. It took a few days now, but to work tomorrow. So, oh yeah. Took a few. I mean, everybody, we have to do it, y'all. Take time for yourself. If you out there working hard, take time for yourself because you know what? These jobs will replace you. We can't replace you. So, yes. So let's get into this foolishness, shall we? Because I cannot believe I'm about to go in on these reviews. So the scene opens up with Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie. They're meeting for lunch like they regularly do to talk about, you know, what happened over the last few episodes. So they bring up, you know, the trip and everything about how, you know, they're both exhausted because Dr. Jackie had to go into surgery immediately from her trip. So she's really, really tired. And she says she hopes everybody else understands that this is not easy. Like you feel, you know, good that you go on vacation, but then you feel guilty because of what you got to come back to. I said, I know that's right, Dr. Jackie. We all can feel that pain. And then we talk about the Met Gala. And everyone is frustrated with Toya because Toya is making a whole bunch of changes. No one knows what's going on, but she wants everybody's money. She also wants to not include certain people from the group, but wants them to contribute. And Simone said that it is crazy to be that you are going to not include people when just last year, Steve and Mimi gave $5,000 on some ugly ass glass dish. And you don't want their contributions, you don't want to include them. Like that is absolutely crazy for me. And I said that's crazy for all of us, Simone, because I sure don't get it. If I know someone is going to get $5,000 just nilly-willy and I need money for contributions for charity, you best believe I am going to make sure that they are there and make sure that they are just as generous as they were the year before. And they talk about Toya launched the website, and then the ladies had the problem with Toya only putting Dr. Jackie and herself on the thing. And Dr. Jackie told Toya that this is not one of those situations where you can't not include the other ladies of the group because we all founded this charity organization. So you cannot just not include them just because it's your turn this year. Dr. Jackie did tell her, but Toya said, okay, well, I'll take it down, but you made sure to let the other lady see it before you took it down. Toya, you ain't shit for that. And then the last thing they talk about was the whole Curtis, you know, having word vomit, talking about the Lord and preaching to people about having children out of wedlock, as if, he done found Jesus when he was over there at Hilton Head with Dixie Cup over there, and they was getting it, laying it low and spread it wide, Curtis. We ain't gonna forget about that. But she said that she didn't know that Curtis had said that until they were at the airport and him and Steve were talking about it, because Steve said, because Curtis asked, "Do you think King was offended?" Dr. Jackie said, "What'd you say?" And Dr. Jackie said, "Oh, no, Curtis, we got to apologize because you're not supposed to be talking out of turn like that, Curtis." So Simone said, "Well, are you going to apologize to her at the Met Gala?" She said, "Well, I sent her some text messages, but I will be for sure apologizing when I do see her." And she said, "You know how Quad is. Quad, take things deep. She be processing and she take forever to forgive. So you better hope she come in good spirits to the Met Gala." Just a whole bunch of foolishness. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you think Toya was intentionally not including certain ladies from the group for the Met Gala?
Everything Toya did was messy and intentional, just to save you any of the questions. Everything Toya did is just messy and intentional. I think Toya is great at decorating events. I think you've said that before. Interior design she would be great at. But a lot comes with planning something versus just being a part of it, or even just working for somebody. Like, to plan something requires a lot. So she had no choice but to be intentional with everything she did, including who was invited, who had to pay, all of those different things.
Yeah.
But Jackie and Simone's meeting, I know a lot of people online were like, "Oh, we're happy to see them having lunch again." I'm not. I think Simone is the worst friend that you could have.
Ooh.
I just do. I really do. Because it seemed like she unfollow or get mad at Jackie whenever she don't get her way. And Jackie's kind of the same way. But
Jackie's more, I think Simone is a high level passive aggressive, and Jackie is an underhand passive aggressive, where she'll send Heavenly to go and be her mouthpiece and sit back and go,
Simone does the same thing with
Heavenly.
Toya. She does the same
She sure
thing with Toya.
does.
It's just that she's just loud. I can't deal with loud. But, Jackie, why are you married to this man? That's all I wanted to know in the scene. I really didn't care about anything else they talked about in the scene. All I cared about was Jackie's response to what Curtis was saying. And it's like, okay, if you disagree with him, you never with him. He's always in the Dominican Republic or Canada or on somebody's golf course. Why are you with this man?
She made up a good point when she said that, they didn't necessarily do things out of ordinance if you're wanting to throw the Bible in, and they still didn't get pregnant. And I had forgot, y'all, that in 2013, when Married to Medicine was, that was probably one of the first, maybe season 1, season 2, that they were talking about doing donor eggs or adoption, and Curtis shut that down and was like, "I thought we weren't going to do this. This was not in our plans," and just completely shut down Jackie's chance to have children. And I totally forgot about that. And I said, "That's fucked up, Curtis, considering you have a child. That's messed up." Like, if somebody's dream was to be a mother, they finally get that chance, and then you shoot it down for whatever reason. It's like, damn, Curtis, really?
Shoot it down and cheat on her.
Right. And then cheat on her after that. It's like, oh, wow, you ain't shit. Oh, hell no, Jackie. I agree with my best friend. Jackie, I don't know why. I don't know what he does. I don't know if it's like Kimmy over there from Love and Marriage Huntsville, where you just want to be married. I don't know what it is. But that's crazy as hell. I'm sorry. I had totally forgot about that. Shout out to my girl Keywan J in the building, y'all. Please subscribe to her channel. Her information is in my description box. And please also do what she says, which is like up the video and subscribe. Thank you for being here, my love. I totally appreciate you. So we then move on to Mimi. Her and Steve, Mimi in the kitchen making some spaghetti. And she was asking, "Do you put sugar in it?" And I said, "No, Mimi, you do not put no sugar in it. That's old hood
Yes,
booger
you
stuff."
do.
No,
Yes,
you
you do.
don't.
Yes, you do. Okay. If we are making the black people spaghetti, absolutely, you put a little bit of sugar in there. You ain't got this
No.
to down it, but I promise you, every person that makes something that's good is putting a little bit in there.
Now in the sauce, like if you like make it from scratch, yeah, you do put a little sugar in there, but they're not in the actual meat and shit.
No, not in the meat.
That's because that's all I was seeing.
But Mimi just poured that whole thing of meat into the
She had a
pan.
can of Prego there. She didn't need no
I'm
sugar.
like, Mimi, you could put some, you definitely want to put sugar in Dr. Prego. Them is the sauces you doing it to. But Mimi, I don't think she doesn't cook often. Because
She
a
says
person
she
that
don't cook.
takes ground beef, and she was like, I don't want it to touch my hands. You ain't got no kitchen gloves, girl. I keep kitchen gloves, some black gloves in there. Mish up the meat, Mimi. It was falling out the side of the pan.
It was on the back of the spatula. I said, Lord Jesus, somebody help her, please. I felt so
Steve
bad
don't
for
do
Mimi.
nothing in no psychiatry office. If you don't just let us know that he's a house husband, let Steve cook.
Right. I don't have no problem with that. But I was looking at I don't pay attention to Steve at all. But I was looking at Steve and to see Steve has a big ass face. I did not realize that. There's nothing wrong with that. I was like, wow, that's beautiful. But he has a really big face, and I did not see that at first. Damn. But that's not what we're here for, y'all. They're talking about the baby. Stevie. So Stevie is, in speech therapy, and that actually being in speech therapy actually helped his behaviors because he's not as abrasive. He's going into the grocery stores, being mild mannered. He's not trying to get toys. His relationship with his sister is better. So now they're thinking of enrolling him into sports. I think that is a wonderful idea. Definitely get his mind occupied. Also, they're building their dream home, and it looks exactly like Toya's home. So I was like, okay, so everybody has the same architect here on Married to Medicine. What are we doing? But I'm happy for them. They didn't strike me as a type that didn't have money. So I'm like, okay, go ahead, Steve and Mimi. We see you. But, that was pretty much it. How did you feel about Steve and Mimi scene?
I like this couple. I like them on the show. When they show themselves in their household, they're actually interacting with each other. They're actually being affectionate with each other. They're actually parenting together. It's not just one person doing it and another person complaining. Like, this is what healthy but not perfect looks like. And I'm so glad that they added another couple that got it right. Because what was that other lady with the shady husband? Was he a dentist? I can't
He
remember her name.
was it Audra and
Not
Audra the
Audra.
attorney?
The ones that came after her, the one that was forgettable, the black
Okay, so
doctor.
we had a no, not okay. So you
I think
said
they was
blacks.
African.
Oh, you talking about oh girl, yes.
Alicia was her name, I think.
Alicia. Yes, Alicia and her
Yes.
husband. Yes,
Yeah, like
yes,
I feel
yes.
like
There you
Married
go.
to Medicine always adds like weird, thank you, y'all, like toxic couples, like in their own little way. But I feel like Mimi and Steve, like, we're not going to get much mess with them unless they're interacting with the group. And I appreciate that. So I don't mind their little scenes. And it was funny to see Mimi spreading botulism and bacteria all over her kitchen. But, eventually the food got cooked. Amen.
Yeah, the baby wasn't thrown up, y'all. So progress, progress. It's okay, Mimi. I can't cook no more either, Mimi. So don't, it's fine. It's fine, girl. Just go and get you some, prepared meals. Put them in the oven, take them out, and there you go. Um, I like Mimi and Steve. They don't bother me. They don't. And it's so unfortunate because Steve got a whole lot of rumors out in Atlanta, apparently, that I just found out about. So I'm just like, see,
You
y'all
can
going.
smell that. He's very sassy from the moment I seen him. Listen, I love a man that dresses well, but a man that pays too much attention to how he dresses, I'm sorry, is giving you play for the other team or both sides.
I don't want to believe that.
It's a
So
it's a fact. Like, it's how he gives it. Steve gives sassy. He just do.
okay. So Shani, now that you back home, now that you back home, I'm finna turn this up a little bit because we got to talk about our next scene, which is Toya and Eugene. So Eugene is moving into his brand new office that's only 20 minutes from home. So now he gets to, come right on home at the end of the day, go right out. He ain't got to drive 5 in 2 hours, even though he's still driving 5 in 2 hours. Because we know in today's time, based on Carlos King's interview, he's still doing that commute. So go to hell, Toya. We know that's not the same shit. So, but anyways, we're proud of Eugene for getting his office and everything. And Once she sent the boys out, she said, Eugene, stop picking at your face. And he goes, damn, you is bossy. She said, Eugene, you don't understand. I've been yelling with these women since 7 o'clock in the morning. And so what has been revealed is that there has been a text thread, which was mentioned by Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, that there's over 60 text messages between her and the other ladies explaining the Met Gala. So I'm about to put this on thick for y'all. Thank you, Dr. Contessa, for spilling the beans, because it didn't make sense ordinarily, but now we finna break this down and we finna throw all these things into one. So basically, Toya is mad because that all the ladies are coming at her, but when she asks for help, none of them want to give their input. She found out that Mimi, through text messages, actually belonged to an organization and was the head of it for 10 years. And she said, well, why couldn't you help me? And I'm like, Toya, you weren't including anybody in this. So how is she going to help you if you're not being inclusive? It seems like you are being divisive. So how is she supposed to help you? And Eugene said, well, Toya tried to tell them when we were in Jamaica that, all these plans were going to happen, but everyone kept cutting her off. Everybody kept, telling her to shut up and everything and not letting her talk. So how is she supposed to do that if y'all are shutting her down? And I said, Eugene, that would have been nice, but thank you to Dr. Contessa. So what we find out is that Toya changed the venue 2 days before the actual event was supposed to happen. And on top of that, she wanted everybody to buy a ticket, but didn't want to give the address to the location. So Dr. Contessa said, how the hell are we supposed to, be at this event, but we don't know where the fuck it is? How are we supposed to give you money and you not telling us no information? Like, how is that supposed to happen, Toya? How are they supposed to help you and you're not letting go of information? And just in case, y'all want to say, well, James, maybe Toya did. I screenshotted the TV screen that showed the text messages. And they say as follow. I'm about to bring it up on the screen for y'all. So we have Quad up at the top saying, Toya, please give the people documentation ASAP. You have Dr. Heavenly saying, you have taken us all to a new low. And Dr. Contessa said, we have to beg you for info and to help. So that tells me that you weren't trying to include them in it, but you were still complaining about them not helping you. Which one is it, Toya? That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell to me, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to be on Toya's side because I get throwing a charity event is hard. But it could have been so much easier if you just would have included everybody instead of putting them at the front end just because you wanted to wow everybody. That's all this shit was. This was about her ego and her impressing everybody. This ain't have shit to do with the actual cause and the effect. And that's so sad because this was a very important cause and she deified it. Like, it's crazy. So, Mrs. Best. I have to ask you, do you feel Toya was in any right to be mad or upset at the other women for not helping?
I'm just going to comment on the scene instead of being interviewed. I just can't with Toya. I think people need to watch television without watching through the lens of a personal bias or who's their favorite. No matter which way you cut it, Toya is wrong. 45 minutes before an event is crazy. The address should have been given to people who bought the tickets as well as the people planning the event. That should have been done days ago, like more than days. That should have been announced once there was a website up and you announced the event. The location shouldn't just be changing. That's ghetto, that's tacky, that's trifling, that's not professional. It's not a good way of doing business. It's like when I go on YouTube, I don't just come on YouTube and set up a live right before I go live. That's unrealistic. I try to set it up ahead of time. It doesn't matter what you do, how big or how small, you have to do it with tact. And planning is everything. And Toya is not good at planning. She's not good at communicating. And I wish we could say we're surprised, but we're not, because we see that in her friendships and in her marriage, she's not good at planning or communicating. They also don't know how to communicate or plan as it relates to the IRS and paying them. Um, I mean, I think it was Dr. Jen that commented that earlier. Toya just needs to stick to decorating stuff. You argue with these women when they were within reason. You say you want to prove yourself as you're going back to your old behaviors and arguing people down instead of including them in something. And the nerve of you and your nasty looking husband to sit there and act as if you are solely innocent. A good leader and a good planner and a good professional would know how to plan an event, deal with fucking problems, and not argue with every person that's supposed to be on their board. And no shade to Toya, but you only got put up because this was the only way your black ass was going to donate. This is the only way. That don't matter. You shouldn't have messed up with the IRS in the first place. We know that as soon as you get a social security number. A toddler knows that. So Toya and Eugene, they got. I'm not making excuses for these people no more. I'm just really not. But she dropped the ball with her conduct and her behavior. And as quiet as it's kept, I think they only put her up there not to embarrass her. I think they knew that she would come through because she would want to prove a point. I think they put Toya up there to get her and her cheap ass husband to donate. Because if they did not make her a part of the planning and all of that, she wouldn't have bought a ticket. That's why it's going to be real interesting later on in the episode when I give my opinion on Eugene and Steve, because Eugene and Toya real quick this season to talk about we got tickets and we did this. Well, all of the people that you're yelling at did that last year while you went and called Sutter for some wine, and not even a wine that people will want at an event of that scale. And then she cheaped out on several other parts that I'll discuss later, but no, I'm tired of Toya and Eugene. It's like the audacity of them to even think that any of this is okay. And the bitch ain't even a doctor or a nurse. Toya ain't even a medical assistant or a CNA. So why the hell was she allowed to plan shit anyway for a med gala? Bitch can't do nothing in medicine. Hell, even I could give an IV with a butterfly needle. Toya can't. So I just don't understand her purpose, but that's all. They got on my nerves.
They got on my nerves as well, just because they have no valid points. And Eugene, I don't know why you are throwing yourself in a crossfire. I get that's your wife, but sometimes sit this way out and just support her. Just be quiet.
It's like Contessa said, Eugene is literally the definition of a big ass bitch. Like figuratively and literally, her husband's a big ass bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, he is.
Well, and then they also but then also in the same token, I just kind of feel like that's what she wanted. She wanted a man that she could run. That's all that was. And he's going to be the minion because that's the queen minion right there. I'm telling you, because there ain't no way in hell.
So Toya can move year after year. That's Eugene.
Right. That's crazy as hell. So, we also had a montage of Dr. Heavenly and Mimi speaking about it. They don't know what the hell's going on. Mimi said, y'all ain't got no directors. Y'all ain't got no philosophers. Y'all don't have anybody up in there. We ain't got all that. Dr. Heavenly said, no, we ain't got that, baby. I don't know what's going to happen, but we ain't got that. So we then have a scene with Simone, Cecil, and their boys. Cecil's in there cooking dinner because they're going to redo that night where, oh, my bad, y'all. I'm missing hella comments. Hold on 1 second before I go to the next scene. Oh shit, I am. I don't know why is this not loading for me? It's StreamYard. Hold on, y'all. I think I was here. Not a pop-up gala. Go back some more.
Mm-hmm. We gotta acknowledge and welcome in Jewel.
Hi, Jewel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh Lord, just here. Minnie is a beard. Okay. No, Contessa, you cannot wear that dress to the gala. Your ass and boobs is out. That dress was ugly as hell anyway, so I'm glad she didn't wear it. But hello, James, Mrs. Best chat room. Detroit called and is requesting Toya's 313. What up, though? Affirmation revoked for utter embarrassment. Low budget venue. No chicken wings, just flats. I feel like I need to find out if anybody I knew went to that shit. Because I'd had someone who went to the last one. I knew somebody who went to the last one. I don't know if that same person went to this one. I have to ask. But I know Toya didn't. Like, I saw the plate, but I want to believe that there was better food there.
Even if there was, why would you put chicken wings out at a gala? Why are we putting out finger foods at a gala when we're all dressed up and pretty? And she didn't have no napkins. She just had people taking big ass drumstick wings
on a stick. That shit.
on the stick. And it wasn't even like a seasoned chicken wing. Like it was the kind that we would get if we went to Magic City and seen them bounce that ass. I'm just saying. Which, by the way, don't hate on strip club food. Is hella good.
It is hella good. Yes.
Why would you give someone a buffalo wing at a gala?
Yes. Didn't Steve tell Eugene in Jamaica that Mimi has been excluded? Yeah, and we'll get to that in just a second. We'll get to that. They need to revoke her shit. Hell. All right. Now this is where I remember. Okay, so sound like a pop code. Mrs. Best comment: Toya expected the group to behave like this is her trick ass husband and just pay no questions asked. Like just because your husband weak don't mean everybody else is. You better say that, friend. Shanny said, if the comment will highlight. Shanny said, hey, twin, good to see your face on camera today. I'm glad you feeling better. Thank you, Brother Joe, for taking care of our dear twin. Yes, she is feeling much better, as she says here. We appreciate that. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you look well today, friend. All right. They received the address only 45 minutes before the event started. So here's the thing. I don't know if y'all caught it, but Toya said that a lot of the people bought those tickets within that 48-hour window and that Brandy brought her ticket the day of the event. So I imagine if Brandy being on the show bought her ticket the day of, I imagine a whole lot of other people did too.
And this is why I say, don't be too quick to congratulate Toya. If you've ever planned an event, that is crazy. You're taking away the exclusivity, however the hell you say it, by making it to where people could just show up to the door and they Sunday best and pay for their ticket. And then why were multiple cast members paying for multiple tickets? You can't tell us you sold however many thousand in tickets if cast members were buying thousands of tickets amongst themselves. No, I want to know what the public spent. Because it's looking like Toya did what Phaedra did last year when Phaedra wrote that check, but at least Phaedra did the work. It's looking like Toya is doing that.
So the next scene, after we talk about Simone and her kids and Cecil, we're going to talk about that because she did expose how much the tickets were. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Toya, you're an adult. If you felt overwhelmed, you needed help, why didn't you ask the ladies for help? Because that's not what it was about. It was about Toya flossing, thinking that she could do this without the help of the ladies, but then she wanted their money and not tell them anything. I don't believe in that, y'all. That's not how I operate. If you ask me for money and my name is there as a founder, I need details. I need to know what you're doing. And no, you cannot change no event space the week of. You can't do that. No, I'm sorry. That's not how that works for me. Why are you changing it? Did something happen? Did the plumbing get backed up? Did the place catch on fire? Why are we changing it just days before the event's supposed to happen? And we're selling tickets to this nonetheless. Who the hell is going to buy tickets 48 hours before the shit is supposed to start? That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell to me. I'm sorry. That is. Okay, I got this comment. Jules at that part. She did not talk about that wine not one time this season. She didn't, but Eugene did. I don't even know if Eugene knows what the fuck it is. Because regardless of her contributing wine or not, that's not what the fuck they asked for. They asked for a currency cash placement for her spot as a founding member of the Gala. They did not ask for contributions of consumption of wine. That is not technically her foundation.
It's also a cheap wine. You could get it in any liquor store, a whole gallon of it for $8.99 before tax and CRV.
Yes. Exactly. I can't wait for you to get the fashions of this Gala, James. I have statements and questions about Simone's outfit.
We can't even fault everybody at the Gala for how they dress.
I can, yeah.
Because if you don't give me the location of somewhere I'm supposed to be with, and I don't get the shit within 48 hours, I'm picking something out the closet or I'm going to Ross, TJ Maxx, Nordstrom, Macy's. I'm not putting effort into a Toya Bush Harris event.
Me either. Me, I
No,
wouldn't have either. So I don't fault Simone either. It was an ugly outfit, but I don't fault her. No photographer either can test the passed around a picture frame and they use their cell phones to snap pictures. Sure did.
trifling.
Sure did. Hi, Jocelyn Stewart. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Totally agree. Who would serve chicken wings on the bone that you would have to eat with your fingers at a gala?
Oh, the bone. I didn't even.
Yes,
I was just mad at the wings, but the
it was
fact
a
that the
flat.
bone makes it awful. I just saw they handed Curtis a big ass drum. And I was looking, and Curtis was like, "I guess I'll take one," and was holding it like that because a piece of whatever sauce they put on the wing was about to fall onto his suit. I said, "They ain't right."
Cash in the hand, just like you want, Toya. Exactly. Exactly. And Toya set up her wine display at a venue that she didn't even pay for. Y'all, Toya's wine, as we keep telling y'all, is a coupon code. She's an ambassador.
You
She did not
use a
create.
code like you would see when you watching YouTube videos, and they be like, "Use code whatever." There's code WatchYoMouthReviews, and you can get 10% off. That's all she got. That's all she got. I promise y'all, living right near wine country where she gets her wine, they are in every liquor store in East Palo Alto, East San Jose, Deep East Oakland, West Oakland, every hood in the Bay Area in the liquor store. She didn't even get a quality wine to bring to the party. No shade, but
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to move on to, before I get the last comments, we're going to move on to Dr. Simone and Cecil's scene. So Dr. Simone has her boys over, they're cooking dinner and they're talking. They wanted to have a redo of that night at dinner that they have, where Simone has blown up because, she says she's tired. She want to retire. So Simone takes it and she said that, look, I want to apologize for coming off as strong as I have been. Like, I don't, want you guys to feel like you're a hindrance. I really sorry. And also the son, I swear I hate this neighborhood. The son Michael said, I'm sorry for cussing. I just want to be the one that, makes more money than everybody. So I could show y'all stuff y'all ain't never seen before. So I could be like, damn, we really looking at this. Damn, we really seeing this. And I said, little boy, in order to do that, you have to have the work ethic. And in order to do that, you have to be sure that it's not a place your parents actually have been to, because they do quite travel a lot, more than the average couple. So you need to make sure a lot of P's and Q's before you actually say that out your mouth. And now that we know in today's time that credit card is not cut off and your mama did in fact buy you the new car, I don't know what this scene was supposed to do for us. But Cecil says, and I apologize to your mother for not having her back like I should have that night. I apologize for us not being a team player and really putting my foot down when it comes to you boys too and going against her wishes. I'm very sorry for that. And I'm just like, the fuck are we watching here? But I don't know. To me, I just feel like nothing has changed. Simone ended up doing things in real time that I felt like she should have cut off, because they're in the confessional saying that same son will work two jobs to make sure that he doesn't go without, to make sure he's not, inconvenienced to anybody. But it sounds like to me nothing has changed. He still got the credit card and he still has the new car. So I don't know what that was supposed to mean. He said he is working. He went on social media and said he actually does have a job. His coworker snapped him at work. So he doesn't know why people are coming at him and his mama like that. But, hey, y'all are on reality TV. This is what people do. Because if I was on reality TV, I wouldn't respond to shit. But that's just me. Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about the Whitmore's family dinner scene?
they can leave the show. I feel like they use their kids for a storyline. I've said this, James will tell you, I've said this consistently since we've done live and before we do live. Simone can't offer nothing but noise. She can't offer us nothing but noise and a dental project for a prospective dentist. That's all Simone can offer us. And Cecil, he's been on social media going crazy. To me, the whole family is low-key corny, except for Miles. Bless that baby's heart. I don't care. Because it's like you said, if he got the credit card to this day, what's it matter? And you failed at teaching your kids something, and you think that you haven't failed because they have a degree and they're not in the streets and stuff, but they have. They have heavily and severely failed these boys, because if the only way that I think that I can make it to do good for people that I love and appreciate for giving me life is to continue using them instead of doing the shit on my own, then I've learned nothing. What I heard Michael say is basically he gonna use his parents and what they have, and they need to be okay with it because he eventually will get them and pay for stuff. But it's like, when? They already old as hell. When? Michael, when? So I don't care to see this family anymore. And then what do you expect from your kids when just the season ago and the season before that, you and Cecil had no fucking storyline? So all you showed was yourself going to their houses, putting on hazmat suits like idiots, cleaning up. Like, what did you expect? Of course he gonna be okay with, swiping your card and not caring. So I think that Simone and Cecil bullshitted everybody with this storyline. I think they're okay with the dynamic in their household because it's been the same since we've watched the show from the season 1. And I'm kind of over it because you're just gonna have your kids and your family with you and keep paying. So I don't care to see it. Just be quiet. If I don't have to hear her yell, I don't want to hear her yell.
Spit on his outfit from Eddie Bauer. A lot of drama for only 10K with 5K per student raised. And when they raised over 100,000K last year, Stephen Mimi refused to donate. We're going to get into that. It's not that they refused to donate. They didn't like being excluded, but then asked for money, which we'll talk about deeper because I kind of felt like Eugene had them both fucked up. I'm sorry, he did. Spill on his outfit because he got it from Eddie Bauer. Shani. Maybe Toya should have called Lisa Barlow to get some of that mediocre tequila. Ooh, let's not. Yes, Julian, 5K ain't nothing toward tuition. We gonna talk about that because I did feel a way about that. I did. And I know every little bit counts. I'm not saying that they didn't have to do this at all, but I feel like when we compare it to last year getting $100,000 versus this year only 10K and only having 2 students up there, I'm just like, damn. Okay, all right. Mrs. Best, exactly. And those 2 students probably thought they would clean up toward their tuition with most medical professions in attendance. Remember, they were only asked to purchase tickets for donations, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So they talk about everything that they gave that youngest son, or he asked for it. And I don't hear them talking about the oldest one asking for anything or them giving him anything. I think that oldest one knows to be quiet. That's what he got from Cecil, is he knows to be quiet and to shut his mouth and not say anything and just be grateful. That youngest one is just like Simone, where he got to make a scene and holler like she do and tell us on, social media and everything that we all in a business and we hating and we doing all this, and his mama gonna do what he say do anyway. So why are we all in their face with all this? That's what he told us. So, hey, he right. Simone she did bend her back and bought him the car. So I ain't got no qualms with you, bro. I don't. I ain't got no qualms with you. If your mama want to sit up there with your grown ass and buy you a brand new car, hey, have at it. I ain't mad at it. But we gonna call the spade, right? Okay. And then they cut the oldest one off for a little bit because he wasn't doing anything. I don't think they cut either one of them kids off when they said they would. I believe that this is what my thought is. I believe the oldest son has a Chase credit card as well. I just don't think he spends as much as that youngest one does. Because $60,000 and the fact that he didn't even know what the fuck he spent it on is absolutely crazy. That means you being real reckless. Because it ain't that much Uber Eats and going out and all that shit in the world for you to spend someone's whole damn salary on, life. Because you ain't got no bills. They're paying them. They're living in their rental property. So the hell? We didn't see nobody bid on no artwork or anything. Weren't they doing that too? That's what okay. So let's go ahead and go there. So, and also, the location Sinclair, lady who owned it. I'm sorry, I wrote your name down, but my phone is tripping. Whoever you are, this is not a reflection of you. My recap and my reviews, Watch Your Mouth Reviews, and also Mrs. Best 3 TV, we're not aiming anything at you. So please do not take offense at anything that comes out of this. This is strictly going to Toya
Who are
Bush
you
Harris,
talking about?
the lady who owned the place, because I don't want her to, catch heat or anything, because she didn't have to open up her establishment to them. So I just wanted to do like a preemptive apology when I go in on Toya, because I did not like the decorations. I didn't like anything, but I don't want to think that it was on her. That's all. But Toy and Eugene get to the event. They're decorating. It's a huge space, nice place. The idea is that it's going to be kind of like this artsy themes situation. We're going to have painters. There's going to be murals. There's going to be lots of different things going on. And she was just saying that I can't believe I pulled this off. And, I sold $10,000 in ticket sales. So that's going to go to the donations of these charities, the students. I'm just so proud of myself. So to sum this up, because I kind of already spoke about this, basically what happens is the 5 ladies, which is Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, Dr. Contessa, Dr. Heavenly, Toya, and Quad, each donated $2,500 to secure the venue, the food, and everything else. The ticket proceeds that they get for everyone's entry fee goes into the charity. So Toya, I don't know how long this happened or how many days she did this in, because from what we understand, she changed the venue 48 hours before the day was supposed to happen. So I don't know when she got the ticket sales for it, but the ticket sales, she raised $10,000. So each lady's taking $5,000 a piece. Each person paid $150. So that means she has somewhere around 66 to 67 people, if we do the math right, at this event for the people, for the charity. So when we really think about it, y'all, 67 people, that's not a lot of people. And when you look at who was in the audience of people, I saw a lot of radio personality. I saw a lot of medical professionals, including the one that was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. He was Nene's therapist. He was there. I saw a lot of familiar faces. Gary with the T was there. He was there as well. So I saw a lot of who's of Atlanta. So it seemed to me this was more industry networking event than a public, hey, you're going to be married to medicine, spend $150, go to a charity. It just seemed like there was no promotion.
Another reason why this bitch failed, because it is a med gala that was started for members of the medical community in Atlanta. Why the fuck are you inviting people from the radio? They're going to show up so they can be noticed, post about the event, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to go home. They're there for content, not to donate. Clearly. And the who's of Atlanta ain't shit, because had that been somewhere, no shade Atlanta, but had that been somewhere like New York City, had that been somewhere like in the DMV area, had that been somewhere such as the affluent areas in Colorado or California, influencers or not, who's who or not, people would not have just given what they needed to get in, especially with the type of event it is. People would have donated because real money says that's a tax write-off and looks forward to events where they donate, especially when it's on camera and you could say to this Uncle Sam, like, yep, right over there I gave. They love that. What's wrong with your community, Atlanta? Because all the people who was there should have been more than $10,000. And I'm personally pissed off as a graduate student. I can promise y'all that funky ass $5,000 she gave them towards their tuition will probably cover the registration for a course. And when I say a course for one semester. That's all. It's very expensive to go to college. One of the most expensive places you could go to college too, which people don't know, is in Atlanta. There are a lot of universities there and they're all very pricey. So I'm looking at Toya like there should have been like a donation requirement or places everywhere with QR codes that people could click to donate and things like that. Like people were just there with chicken wings and no napkins or plates.
Terrible. So People are showing up. Dr. Jackie gets there with Curtis first, and Dr. Jackie is looking around because the place was decorated beautifully. I will say that. She goes, "Oh, there's money in here. There's check here, check here, check here." And I'm just looking at Dr. Jackie like, Dr. Jackie, the charity is only getting the proceeds from the ticket sales, not from anybody bidding on art or anything else or want to give a personal donation to up that $10,000. So I don't know what that was supposed to mean because $150 per person for a regular person like me, yeah, that's kind of, I probably wouldn't spend the money. But if I'm a doctor personnel or have or make six figures, that's not much when you could be getting a whole lot more. But I digress. I digress. I digress. So Mimi and Steve get there next, and the lady stops them at the door. And she said, "Where's your QR code?" And they said, "Oh, we are actually at Dr. Jackie's table, Dr. Walters." She said, "Stay right here. Let me go get somebody so I can see, what's going on." So Eugene comes over and he asked them, "Did y'all buy a ticket?" And they're looking at him like, "No one told us to buy a ticket." And they said, "Well, you're supposed to buy a ticket for entry. You're supposed to go ahead and do that." And Steve was like, "I gave $5,000 last year, and no one ever told me I needed to contribute anything this year." And he was all like, "Well, no, you have to buy a ticket. That's the whole point of the purpose because the proceeds go to the actual charity." See, what y'all had was Dr. Jackie and all of them paid for the venue for a table. That's what that whole thing was for. And I said, "Eugene, you got people fucked up." Then let me tell you guys why he got people fucked up. The reason why Mimi and Steve showed up there is because they're on the television show as main cast members. That's one thing. Two, you did not say that they had to buy a ticket for entry when Steve said he was not donating because, and that was probably talking and mention of the $2,500 for the venue because Mimi was excluded. So this did look like a setup to embarrass them. And if I were Steve and Mimi, I would have turned around and left and told Toy Eugene to kiss my ass as I walked out. That's what I would have done. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Mimi and Steve walking into that venue and then getting accosted like they did?
I think they were smart to stay and pay because if they would have left, Toya and Eugene were looking for a moment to embarrass someone the way that they embarrassed themselves season after season. But at the end of the day, at the end of the doggone day, Toya, these people can do what you and your man cannot do. Last year, people was begging y'all to donate. Eugene was nervous. Those bead of sweat almost dropped from his forehead to his nose. He was nervous about that because she had a big ass mouth knowing her husband didn't give a doggone dollar. Now someone else is here and they thought, oh, it's our chance to embarrass someone else. No, bitch, not everybody broke like you. So they pulled out their money and they paid quickly and effortlessly to get in. And I would have done the same thing because I got dressed up and I'm going in here and somebody's going to look at me while I'm dressed up. And the somebody that can look at me is the person that's upset and thought that I would turn around. I think that's why Toya did that, thinking they would turn around and leave. But I think them staying is better. You can't let everybody get the best of you all the time. And I also think that Mimi sent a message to producers like, I don't care how much this bitch bark. I'm still going to show up and get my check. So yep. I feel like they did the right thing by staying. They also did the right thing in how they addressed it whenever you get to that. And Toya, do better next time. Before you talk all this shit, Toya and Eugene, and act the way that y'all are acting, are you going to donate for the other Med Galas that you never donated to?
Oh, no, they're going to do that because remember, they gave wine.
The whole reason she's petty and was messy was allegedly because Steve said, well, since Mimi wasn't included, we're not donating. But it looks like based on the small ass amount that they racked up, it looks like everybody that was in the event that bought a ticket did not donate and figured their ticket was their donation. So why are you singling out just Steve and Mimi for not wanting to donate when your job was to advertise this Med Gala to make sure that the people attending knew that they had to buy a ticket and to donate? It just did not make sense.
Yeah, exactly. They talk about everything that they give that youngest son and or ask for, but I don't hear them talk about. Oh, I read this one. Sorry, I just want to make sure I didn't miss no comments. Nothing was resolved in that family meeting, and it never is. And did they? Okay, I read this one. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, y'all. We did not see nobody bid on the artwork. Yep, we talked about that one. If it was money, he would have known exactly what. The word Brandy and Angel were part of the cast. I didn't know they were just friends of. Yeah, they're friends of. Heavenly is too. Yeah, they're all friends of. It's obvious Toya did not invite the right people. Were all the doctors Eugene works for? Were all the doctors that Anila's husband works with? Aren't y'all still friends? Anila wasn't there. She sure wasn't. Ooh wee. She wasn't there. Um, Let me go ahead and read some more. I just noticed, yeah, she sure wasn't there. I don't like her anyway, so yeah. Maybe meatballs on a stick would have been easier to eat. Well, I don't know what I would have served, but I would have made sure to have napkins, maybe saucers, so people could eat off of them and maybe have them sit down or something. I don't know. Um, we didn't see that lady ask anyone else for the cure. We sure didn't. We sure didn't. That pissed me off. I was mad, and I didn't want that lady to catch strays, but because she was only doing her job. But I just feel like for me, no, that would have pissed me off as well. Um, that's why, James, I would have broke out too. Guess what? We got a babysitter for the night. We both dressed up. We're going somewhere else to party. I would have left. Because they would have made a moment off me. I get that's Mimi's job, so she probably couldn't leave. But if that was real life, no, you're not gonna embarrass me like that. Didn't tell me I needed to buy a ticket. Why you didn't have someone at the door selling the tickets and say, "Hey, we're doing a ticket sales." Or that lady just said, "Do you have your QR code?" Yeah, that was a setup. Eugene is now completely on Toya's side, right or wrong. He's supposed to be, but at the same time, knowing she's right or wrong is the question. At one point, Eugene said, yeah, that he donated this year, but for next year too. How do you do that for next year, Eugene? Eugene felt like that wine shit would have sufficed Toya's donation. And it would have if they said, okay, we'll donate that and alternate to cash. But nobody said that they did that. Toya just didn't want to donate. And that wine was probably sitting at the house because Toya probably bought a whole bunch of boxes of it. And, just to get her, because when you are an ambassador, you have to make a certain quota. So I feel like to give herself leverage, Toya bought that wine to keep her ambassador code. I really do feel like that. And that's allegedly because I don't know if that's true or not. But I feel like that's what she did. Tell you why didn't they check with the ladies before the party to say, listen, ladies, you have to you have to have a ticket to get entry. Toya didn't give them any information. As we saw here in the text message thread that they put on the screen here, Dr. Contessa says we have to beg you for info and to help. So that means to me, when you say we have to beg you for information and to help, that means that you're not telling us, hey, ladies, we need you to buy a ticket before you have entry, or hey, the venue's going to be this. Hey, we're going to have chicken wings and macaroni and cheese in a cup. Hey, we're going to do it like this. I'm sure none of that details was mentioned to the ladies, which is why I would have felt way about this event. Ooh, we got to hurry up because we have to get to Mrs. Best's channel for 90 Day Fiance. So everyone else gets there. Brandy was mad because everyone wore a regular dress and she came in an actual art eccentric piece. She had like this black dress. It looked like a heart, but like web on it. It was weird. It was like, how would you wear that? Like, even if it was a costume party, just wear something else. Once everyone's get there, it was, Shay going back and forth, but Steve pulls Eugene to the side. And he says, Eugene, I feel a way about being excluded once again by no one telling me that I needed to buy a ticket to come to this event. And Mimi said in her confessional, we didn't have to buy a ticket last year, so why the hell would we need to buy a ticket? And when Toya comes over, she said that your wife knew. Your wife knew that everything that was going on. And Mimi looked at her like, when did I know anything? I talked to Brandy and she brought a ticket literally today. And yeah, she said, yeah, she bought a ticket the day of. She bought her ticket today. Her husband actually bought her ticket. And I said, Toya, you just said it out your mouth the day of. So people are buying tickets the day of to come to an event that all of you had knowledge of weeks prior. Y'all, I'm sorry, but that didn't make sense to me. It just didn't make sense to me at all. But Steve was giving it to Eugene. Steve said he felt a way about it. He said, I felt like you were trying to embarrass us. I felt like, this was a slight at that. And Eugene said, well, you said you weren't going to contribute. So we took that as that you didn't want to be a part of it. He said, Eugene, y'all are on a show called Married to Medicine. He has to show up for his wife, contractually obligated because this is an event, unless she calls out sick or had a prior engagement. But when Toya got his face, he said, listen, I don't address women. I'm addressing your husband. I said, thank you, Steve. You a real one. I was Team Steve. I was. Because he's right. They have charity organizations that belong to. There's an ordinance of things. Toya put together this thing within 2 or 3 days and expects everyone to contribute. And then when you say that the ticket proceeds go to the function, it's like, well, I was with Steve. Why not have people bid on art? Because people could pay 5, 10,000, up to 20,000 for art pieces that's all up in there. Why only have it to where ticket proceeds go to there? People who were chosen for the charity, and it was only 2 young ladies. And I didn't blame Steve. Mrs. Best, I have to ask you. I know you might have got kicked out again, and I'm sorry your StreamYard did that to you because I did not. How did you feel about Steve coming at, Eugene? Do you think it was warranted? Do you think he had a reason? Because that was embarrassing, I will admit.
My comments on this scene, pretty much, Eugene is never gonna face a man in the way that he needs to be faced, and Eugene is lucky that he was not dealing with a petty man who moves like a bitch in the way that he does, because if he was, then Eugene would have been reminded that, why don't you take the proceeds of me and Mimi's ticket out of the 5,000 we spent last year, or the money that you should have gave the 2 years that you guys gave nothing. Like, and then Eugene would have sat there looking like a dumbass even further. But all I'm gonna say is, Toya, again, just because you can disrespect your husband doesn't mean you're gonna get away with it with other people, because you could tell that she was pissed off to not have control, because she knows that her husband cannot handle Steve on his own, because she knows that she's wrong and puts her husband in a bad position. That's why she said, well, then take it to the back. And they still stood there and finished their conversation. Now you care
Mhm.
about people taking stuff to the back, Toya. But at the other Mad Galas, in addition to not donating, you was acting a fool and causing a scene. But you don't want someone to do it when you plan one. It makes no sense. And again, if there were no tickets that people had to pay for last year, why are they having to pay with you? Where is this money going? Because it looks like she spent more to decorate and put this together from poor planning than they got in donations and what they spent in previous years.
Mm. But yeah, there's 2 things I want to talk about, and then we're gonna end the live because we have to get to Mrs. Best channel. So the 2 things I want to talk about. So they actually have the 2 young ladies get their donation scholarships of $5,000 each, which to me, once again, I kind of felt like I'm grateful for any money to any college student get, because all money, every little bit helps. But when you think of them getting 25,000 the first season, $100,000 the second season, I feel like, truth be told, they might as well just have written a check for just them 2 days just to go to school and do something different. Or if they were going to contribute more money, Toya should have put it together and said, how about the money that we do? We give it to like maybe 4 students, so that's 5,000 a piece there, or maybe give them 10,000 a piece. I don't know. I just feel like I wanted to see more money like they had gotten in previous seasons. I don't know why I'm being, mean like that, but it just felt like to me, I seen them get more money in previous seasons. Why is this year different? Just me. I don't know. Just me. I just felt like the tickets from the proceeds could have paid for the venue, and then the ladies could have paid for a road check for the charity. I don't know. That's how I feel. And then the second scene was, second thing I want to talk about was when Simone's son got there, and they were everybody was dancing, and he said, "Oh, Mama, I saw her. I didn't say nothing. I paid her dust." And she said, "Like I'm doing," and I was like, the fuck are they talking about? That was weird to put in on the editing chopping block. And then I had to realize when she got to her confessional, she was talking about Heavenly. And it was like, why are your kids involved in your back and forth between you and Heavenly? Y'all, when my mom is into it, one of her friends, I'm not, especially if I've known the friend for quite some time, I'm not in the middle of that. I'm still going to be respectful and speak. What her and my mom got going on ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm staying in my child's place. But I was raised never to be rude to another adult unless my mom has gotten to a physical altercation. This is reality TV fodder, and I don't even think it was that deep, to be honest with you, between Simone and Heavenly. Aside from the whole allegations of aggressive behavior and all that, that was deep, but that's not something that I wouldn't be like. I would be cordial, be like, "Hi, how are you?" Because I'm polite. Mrs. Best, I have to ask you before we get to your channel. Did you find that scene weird too, or was it just me with Simone and her son?
It's always weird. It's always weird when kids get involved in adult business, but especially when your kid is a boy. But I mean, I get it. Stick beside your mom, but no need to announce it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. I still probably would have spoke because my mom would have told me that. Did you make sure you speak? Because my mom is the kind of person, even if she into it with somebody, I still have to be pleasant. That's her business. I'm not, as a kid, I'm not supposed to intercept. So I've always been taught, even though my mom is into it, like she's into it with my aunt, she into it with her best friends. She says, my mom always says, we'll be all right, but you make sure you speak. Don't you be disrespectful. So yeah. But that was pretty much Married to Medicine, y'all. That was the finale. This episode was crazy. Toya, you need your ass whoop. I'm sorry you do, because this was terrible. Let me read the comments, and then we finna go over to Mrs. Best's channel. And Shani said, "Go, Steve." That's the first thing I saw. Simone had deflotation device around her waist. I did not think that it was art in motion. Oh, some macaroni and cheese in a little cup might have been good. That's what that was. I think with the man with that was on the serving tray. I think that was macaroni and cheese in the cup. It looked like pasta. Tell you why you didn't check the ladies before the party today to say, listen, oh yeah, I got this. Okay. I love that Steven says, I'm not going to address women. I'll wait to talk to you, Eugene. Because that's what Toya wanted a moment, y'all. Toya wanted a moment, and we wasn't finna give it to her. If Toya would have included the ladies like past events, the results would have been aligned and the money's raised accordingly. She didn't want to do that. Toya wanted this to be her and Jackie, but you can't do that and then get everybody's money. And then at the same time, as I said, I feel like the ladies should have donated to the charity, and then the tickets proceeds should have went to the event. They should have flipped it so that way more money could went to the people organizing the charity. And if they're short on things, then they make up the difference and probably spend an extra $500 on the venue. I just think they did it poorly. I just really do. If I'm beefing with the chick, Tariq is going to say hi and be respectful, but he's not going to hang out with you for the whole night. No, and you're not supposed to. Saying hi and being cordial is what you're supposed to do. At least that's how I was raised. My mom just always taught me, it doesn't matter what me and somebody else is into, you be respectful and you speak. Because I still, especially if she's a black woman, my mom always said, no matter who it is, you see a black woman, you see me. Unless she's physically harming you or violating you in any way, you always speak. Don't ever let me catch you not speaking to somebody. So that's how that's how my mom raised me. So maybe I was tripping because that's not how I'm brought up. But people raise their children differently, and I have to learn that. But yeah, my mom always taught me, hey, speak to people. No matter what my position is, speak to them. But that's it, y'all. Go ahead and go over to Mrs. Best's channel. Make sure you click her name in my description box if you're not already subscribed to her channel. We have to get to there to talk about 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. It was a great episode. I appreciate everybody being here. We ran a little bit over than I would like to, but it was the season finale. Giving Tree permission to cuss a neighbor out because she was... yes, that is me. But we appreciate you, Shani. Thank you for that comment. I love everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Shout out to my replay gang. I will see you guys at Mrs. Best channel. Don't be late. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.